Saquon Barkley and the Eagles are getting a little cocky. They tell the Chiefs good luck at stopping their offense, and we're going to talk about it. Good morning, Chiefs Kingdom. Welcome in. Thanks for hanging out with All Chiefed Up on this fine Friday morning. Mike, it's not Red Friday because there's not a game, but it's still Red Friday in our hearts, so I had to wear the red beanie.
It's always Red Friday.
It is. Appreciate you all being here. Do us a favor, hit that like button, get this out to more people. And Mike, let them know who's powering this live stream.
This live stream is powered by BetUS. Head over to betus.com right now. Check out what they got going on. You use code YouTube150. You're going to get a 150% deposit match bonus on your first deposit. Then on your next two, you're going to get 125% deposit match bonuses. Those are up to $2,000. Take advantage of all those free plays that you get with those deposit match bonuses. The site's easy to use. Plenty of props on there. Go to betus.com. Promo code YouTube150. Let them know All Chiefed Up sent you their way. Steve, the Eagles, Saquon Barkley, we're about 9 days away. But he was already talking some smack directly after the NFC Championship game. He says that good luck, whoever wins this game, Bills or Chiefs. Spoiler alert, it was the Chiefs. Good luck stopping that offense. Here's the clip.
Your passing game got going right when you needed it. Yeah. You were involved. The 4th and 1 to A.J. Brown. Beauty.
He's the best. He's the best in the world.
But having that balance even opened up more. Shoot, you put up over 60.
Exactly, damn near 60. So whoever plays us next, good luck.
Hey, I have news for Mr. Saquon Barkley. He is an impressive running back, don't get me wrong. But the Chiefs are not the Commanders, bro. I'm sorry, you're not putting up 60. Good luck doing that. How about that?
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Steve, it feels like he's forgotten in the course of one season an entire career full of mediocrity to the mediocre team.
Well, that
I'm not saying
wasn't
he's
necessarily
mediocre.
his fault. But.
No, I'm not saying he's mediocre, but he's forgot what it's like to be the struggle bus team, right?
Yeah.
Like, they think he's got something. Look, I would feel kind of confident, too. I mean, they've had a really good season. They only lost, I want to say, 2, 3, 4 games. It wasn't crazy. They lost to the Commanders, who they eventually beat there in the NFC Championship game. They took, an L to some decent teams. I think they lost one. They lost one to the Bucks. Turned out to be a playoff team. They may have lost one that was kind of uncharacteristic. But it just seemed like they wasn't always at full power all year. Jalen Hurts, there was a little bit of drama with him and the receivers. But Steve, they've got a lot of playmakers, man. Saquon Barkley, the Eagles know how to go out, and I don't want to say this because the Eagles do draft really well. I mean, it's not hard when you're just drafting Georgia Bulldog players out of the SEC. You're probably going to hit 90% of them. But the thing is they know how to go out and spend a lot of money in free agency every time. They're always involved in every big-name free agent there is. They know how to go out and make trades to get players that other people can't seem to get, and they can get them for pennies on the dollar and 7th-round draft picks. It's Brett Veach. It's Howie Roseman. Those two are the guys that manipulate this league the most. They tend to do it more with free agents more than what we do. So they've put together a decent team, man. They got A.J. Brown. He's pretty top-notch. They drafted Devonta Smith. They go out and acquire Saquon Barkley. Their offense is pretty decent, man. I would feel confident, too, if I were them. But at the same time, Buffalo or the Chiefs, either one is not the Commanders. So for them to just say that, I mean, to me, it's false confidence. They're just saying it for their fans and to hype themselves.
Right. I mean, absolutely. You got to be confident, right? But at the same time, you have to be realistic. The Chiefs are not the Commanders. They're not going to allow 7 rushing touchdowns in one game, which is absolutely absurd. The thing about it is, Mike, like you mentioned, they are a good team. They only lost 3 games this year. One was to the Commanders, and then I think they lost to the Falcons and the Buccaneers, which you mentioned.
Bucks, yeah.
So they haven't lost a lot this year. They've had a good season. They ride their defense just as much as the Chiefs do. They really utilize that ground game. I mean, that's really their bread and butter, is running the ball. Their offensive line is excellent, and Saquon Barkley is a freak athlete. Everybody's known that for years now. He's just kind of been hidden away in New York with the crappy-ass Giants. Now he's kind of over at a better team, better organization, and they've been able to feature him in their offense, and he's been killer this year, man. I mean, he's been putting up highlight reels. The thing about it is, the Chiefs' defense, they haven't been the greatest in run defense throughout the playoffs. Early in the season, they were excellent. They were shutting down all kinds of really great running backs. But they've kind of let the foot off the pedal when it comes to the run defense lately. They got to step it back up. They really do, because the Eagles are not going to stray away from what they've been doing all year. They've been playing smash mouth football. We're going to run the ball, figure it out, stop it. That's what they've been doing. They're going to try that with the Chiefs. And the thing about it is, Mike, the Chiefs defense cannot let up the huge chunk plays. That's literally it, because they thrive on just beating teams down until they get that 65-yard touchdown, that 70-yard touchdown. You saw it happen on the first play of the freaking Eagles offense in the NFC Championship game. The Chiefs can't allow that. Saquon's going to get his. He's the best running back in the league. He's one of the top 5 players in the league right now. Had a damn good argument for maybe being MVP this year, if not Offensive Player of the Year. They just really have to focus in on stopping the huge chunk play, because he's going to get his, but you can't let him beat you.
Right. Well, in 2024, the Chiefs' run defense was the Chiefs' run defense. They were better than they were in 2023. In 2023, they allowed 113 yards per game to their opponent. This year, all the way up through the regular season, they allowed 106.6 yards away in away games, and at home, 106.8. So there was a 0.2. They actually was 0.2 worse at home than they were on the road. So right there, though, it's 106. Like, you know what you're getting, 106. In the last 3 games, though, we have seen a huge slide in this run defense. We don't know if it's because Spags has adjusted the defense. Maybe it's, I mean, I hate to say this, but maybe Jalen Watson and Najee Johnson getting more snaps now at the CB2 is causing run support to be a little worse. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's went down. In the last 3 games, Kansas City has went from going 106 yards per game allowed on rushing defense to 151 is now their average. And the very last game we played versus Buffalo, 147 yards on the ground. That's just crazy. You cannot give up 147 yards to Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. If you give up those to Buffalo, you're very much going to probably give that up to the Eagles, because I think the Eagles run their offense in a more of a run-centric way, to where, like, when they want to run the ball with Jalen Hurts, when they want to run the ball with Saquon Barkley, they set it up and they strategically execute it, where a lot of Buffalo's tends to be broken plays and Josh Allen gets out of the pocket. Now, that didn't happen a lot with us last week. And they still put up 147, right? So the Chiefs have to secure this run D. I think if you would have come at me and said, hey, the Chiefs are going to allow 150 yards rushing to the Eagles, I'm going to tell you that's going to be a very tight game, and it's coming down to one score, and we're all going to be clenching our ass cheeks the whole game.
Right.
I don't want that. We know that's probably going to happen, but I would much rather prefer we keep Barkley somewhere around 70, and we keep Jalen Hurts somewhere around 30 to 40. And I can live with that. I can live with the 100 to 110.
Well, the difference to me between the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles, you can't completely discount their passing game, because they do have good receivers, like you mentioned, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. But to me, Jalen Hurts, you don't have to respect his arm as much as Josh Allen's. I'm not saying he's bad.
Do either. He's not as accurate.
But you definitely want him throwing the ball. And I think what you saw with Spags and the defensive scheme against Buffalo, you have to account for Josh Allen's arm. The guy can throw the ball. He throws piss missiles. He's very lucky at hitting crazy throws. I mean, Josh Allen, you really have to watch his arm, and I think that's part of the reason why James Cook was able to do what he did. Now, if you start game plan to the Eagles, I don't think you have to respect Jalen Hurts as much as Josh Allen. Like I said, you still have to respect it. They have a decent passing game, but it's very much opened up by Saquon Barkley in that run game. I just don't think that Jalen Hurts has the arm talent that Josh Allen does. So if you can get some pressure on him, if you can make them pass the ball and you get some pressure on Jalen Hurts, it could be a long day for the Eagles.
Yeah, 147 rushing yards for the Bills versus the Chiefs. But look at the flip side, though. Here's this. The Chiefs also versus the Bills, who a pretty stout run defense. They're not like, let me see, where are the Bills ranked? The Bills ranked 13th, okay? The Eagles are ranked 8th, and the Chiefs are ranked 9th. So we're stuck between them. So 8th and 9th ranked defenses here. The Chiefs did rush the ball 135. That was 135 yards. Some of that, a lot of that was probably Mahomes. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Mahomes had, I don't remember what Mahomes had rushing. I want to say like 40 yards, 50 yards, somewhere in that range. Kareem Hunt had a pretty good day. He had like 65, somewhere in that range. Pacheco didn't really get going a lot. We've not really seen Pacheco really get back to like Pacheco-style football. We've just not seen it.
That's tough coming off of a broken ankle, though. You know?
I guess so, but I mean, he's fully healthy at this point. I feel like he's almost got back into just the mind frame of like hit the hole crazy and erratic, whereas a little bit at the end of last season and some at the beginning of this season before he got injured, he almost seemed a little bit more patient in a way. Well, I don't know. It's not the end of the world. But the point I'm trying to make is the Chiefs also can run the ball. In Philadelphia this year, whereas we averaged 106.7, they averaged 104.4. So they are vulnerable a little bit to the run. The same way you say the Chiefs are, the Eagles are just as vulnerable. They're right there on the averages. Now, the only difference is in the last 3 weeks, we've given up 151 rushing yards per game on average. Right. They've only given up 106. So they're still right at their average. So they're going to get up between 100 and 106. How many rushes do the Chiefs have to have? Andy Reid's got to call X amount of plays to get to 106. We average somewhere around 3 to 4 yards a carry. We do not have running backs that tend to chunk off big gains. That just doesn't happen.
Right.
So if he's going to go 4 yards, we'll just say presumably 4 yards average, Mahomes is probably going to get 30 or 40 on the ground like he's been getting. They're going to have to run the ball 20-plus times. You're going to have to run the ball 20-plus times. We're going to have to get that from Andy. We need to rely on that running game, and I believe that also opens it up for Patrick to throw the ball.
I think you're right, but at the same time, you got to be realistic too. This is Andy Reid. I think in the biggest game of the year, he's going to put the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hand a lot. I doubt you're going to see 20 carries. Honestly, I just really doubt it. I would like to at least see around, the 12 to 15 carries for Kareem Hunt alone. I think that's vital. Kareem Hunt, like you mentioned, he's kind of been the better of our running backs. He's seeing the field much better than Isaiah Pacheco does at this point in his career, and he's been a lot more effective. Also, something you mentioned in the AFC Championship game, Kareem's hungry, man. He don't have that ring yet. So, I mean, he's going to be out there busting ass, man. He wants it. And he's right there. He's knocking on the door. He can taste it. He can smell what the Chiefs are cooking, man. He wants that ring, right? So yeah. I think you take advantage of that, and I think Kareem Hunt could have a big game. But I do expect Andy Reid to kind of put the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands most of the time. So we'll see how that goes. But
I feel like Andy Reid's Andy Reid, though, because I just looked up the last time the Chiefs played the Eagles in the Super Bowl, which was 2 years ago. Pacheco had 15 carries. Jerick McKinnon had 4. And then they had a end-around play. And, of course, it's not worthy. It was Sky Moore back then. So they had right at 20 carries. And then Patrick either had a direct call or he left the pocket 6 times. So 26 total carries, but 20 carries in general between running backs and then that one fluke. It's not even a fluke play at this point. This is what Andy's going to do. He's going to run a reverse with a running back or a wide receiver at some point. Like, it's coming.
Right.
So he did hit the 20 carry mark last time. So I do believe that's where it will probably be this time. Like you said, if he tends to go more Patrick-centric, maybe they run the ball 12 to 15 times if the Eagles are just kind of being really stout. They're not getting something going in the run game. But I feel like it's going to be between – if we're looking at 10 to 12 to 14 carries, somewhere in that range, I feel like that's a tougher time. You're going to see a lot tougher offensive struggle for the Chiefs that day than if we're carrying the ball 20 to 25 times. I feel like the offense looks like it's flowing more, and we're probably sustaining more drives and doing more Chiefs-style offense.
Right. Well, something that we fail to mention, and sometimes we don't consider it, but we talk about Andy Reid not giving a lot of carries to the running backs, or he doesn't call a lot of run plays. The thing about it is Andy Reid calls a lot of RPOs, so a lot of this is on Patrick. What does he see? Is he gonna hand it off? Is he gonna take it himself? So I mean, it's very well could be that Andy Reid's calling a good amount of RPOs that could result in a lot of carries, and a lot of that just ends up being what Patrick's seeing on the field. So I think that definitely dictates how many carries the Chiefs end up having at the end of the day. But we'll see how the Eagles' defense is scheming against the Chiefs. We'll just have to see how they're doing. They do have a great defense, so it should be a challenge. But I think the Chiefs are up for it, man. This offense has looked much, much better since the return of Hollywood Brown. Not saying that he's the only reason or that he's going off, but for some reason, when we put him in the offense, that's when things started to click a little bit more. I don't know if he's opening up. I know he's running a lot of the routes that Rashee Rice was running early in the year that were very effective. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a good challenge. Mike, let's get to the chat real quick. We got a 5-bomb from Chief DeLorean. He says, do you think Jeffrey Lurie regrets firing Andy Reid? What do you think, Mike? You have to regret it a little bit.
I mean, yeah and no. He was there for a while. Sometimes you run your course. Andy couldn't really get over the hump in Philly as much as he's gotten over the hump here. He was always had that stigma as he was a bad game manager, didn't really control the clock well. He couldn't really win the big game as many times as he's been able to do here. I think a lot of that was because, yes, Donovan McNabb was a good quarterback. Michael Vick was a decent quarterback, for what Andy wanted to do. But they're not Patrick Mahomes. So as many people that think, well, it doesn't matter who Andy drafts, they would have been Patrick Mahomes. That's BS. Like, we've seen that happen. Donovan McNabb was not Patrick Mahomes. Michael Vick was not Patrick Mahomes. Whoever else you had was not Patrick Mahomes.
There is no Patrick Mahomes.
So when
it's not
people
Patrick
say,
Mahomes,
well,
right?
if blah, blah, blah was drafted here, it's Andy Reid doing this. Patrick Mahomes is mid, and Andy Reid's doing this.
That's ridiculous.
That's bogus because Donovan McNabb was a very talented quarterback. So was Michael Vick, and they could not do the things that Mahomes is doing. And so they play well off each other. Mahomes and Andy are yin and yang over here, okay? Like, they're getting it together. They're coming together. I'm very I don't know if they regret firing him or not. I would regret the decision to hire Nick Sirianni. He's an asshole. But to be honest, what fan base deserves that kind of guy? It's them. He fits right in. I'm surprised they haven't issued a limited edition quarter in his honor or something. Out of the Philadelphia Treasury or whatever.
For the small percentage of Philadelphia Eagles fans that are good people, excuse this, but Eagles fans are trash, bro. They are the biggest bunch of trash there is.
I would say, honestly, if you took 100%, I would say the trash is probably well above the 60-40.
Absolutely. Like, they're not, like, you don't think about them when you think of annoying fans because we don't have to play the Eagles very much. So the first thing that pops up in our mind is who day? Like, the Bengals are annoying, the Raiders, the Broncos, and then, of course, Bills Mafia is kind of ticking up there. But, like, when you really look at it, the Eagles might have the most annoying, trashy fan base in football. I mean, they are scummy. Like,
this speaks volumes of how butthurt and salty America is, too. They would much rather a fan base that is just blatantly on camera, like, being complete jerk-offs and, like, harassing other fans and, like, physically assaulting them and doing everything. They would rather that team have success.
Right.
Than the Chiefs, who, by all accounts, pretty decent fans, pretty decent team. They give back. They do a lot. Like, it's hard. You may not like Patrick Mahomes because you think he gets calls, which is completely bogus. That's been debunked thousands of times. Right. You have to nitpick small things and then gloss over the fact of the little thing called the NFL handbook.
Right.
Just to get to that conclusion. But it's hard to look at Patrick Mahomes and even see what's around him with his dad struggling with, like, alcohol abuse and being arrested and just family decisions. We won't get into Jackson and all that.
His grandfather is in hospice right now.
Right. He's got all this going on, but it is very hard to say that Patrick Mahomes is not a good human being, and he doesn't do a lot. So to hate Patrick Mahomes as much as people do just because he wins football games.
Right.
Is wild.
That's how much this country hates greatness, Mike. It's just
they hate success. They want success in small doses, but when you get a little too successful, then it becomes, well, I'm not that successful. And then they get resentment.
It's that participation trophy generation, I believe. Like everybody thinks they should get a turn. Well, I'm sorry, that's not how it works. If
Yeah.
you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Quit crying about
you
it.
hit the
Go
nail on
do
the
it.
head. Everybody thinks that they need a turn. They're
Right.
tired of the Chiefs. It's someone else's turn to win. No, it's not. It's your turn when you get out there and put in the same amount of work and you go out there and beat the best team.
Exactly.
We had to do it with the Patriots, and we lost to the Patriots. And if you want to talk about bogus calls in a game, we had a few of them.
Yeah.
But when we turned the corner, we said no looking back. And I don't see us looking back this year. You may not win the Super Bowl. We may not win it, but we're not going anywhere. We're still going to be in more Super Bowls for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years, as long as Patrick wants to play and as
Just
long as
say
Andy
10.
wants to be here.
Just say 10 years, bro. Just throw it on out there. The Chiefs are not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, so cry about it. Perry with the 5 bomb says, one thing in the game is how many sacks Hurts takes because he will hold on to the ball. Also, I don't know how good the Eagles defense actually is. So, Perry, the Eagles defense is one spot above the Chiefs defense, but they're very, very good. They are good. But I think
they're the number 2 overall ranked defense.
yeah, yep. They
So
are.
They're pretty good defense. I mean, they got a lot of good players. Jalen Carter is no slouch. I mean, he's kind of a shady guy, right? Like,
Yeah, I
all
mean
the
they're
incidents
very
he's
good.
had.
They're a good defense. I mean the defense
And they went out and
solid.
they got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They've gotten Darius Slay. They drafted Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah,
Very good corner. They drafted the kid from Iowa,
Cooper DeJean.
Cooper DeJean.
They've got a really good secondary. That's the thing. Like I think if you try to match up, team against team, like who's got the best at each position. Mike, you saw me, you pointed me out, arguing with somebody on X the other day. But I kind of feel like the secondary is kind of a toss-up. Like they do have bigger names in the secondary, but I do feel like our secondary with Jalen Watson back, I think Trent McDuffie's the best one on the field. And I think
McDuffie and Watson, a healthy Watson. So if we're assuming that Watson is now healthy, he will now have been 4 weeks back. Right? Because he's played for 2 weeks, and now he gets the 2-week break. He will now be 4 weeks returned.
I think if the most you can do there is say it's a wash, because I'm not giving that nod to the Eagles. I'm not. I just won't do it. Not when Trent McDuffie's the best corner on the football field. So anyway, we can talk more about that kind of stuff in a minute. But Jalen Hurts, he does hold on to the ball a lot. And like we said earlier, you want him passing the ball. Keep the ball in his hands, out of Saquon Barkley's hands, and you're doing yourself a good service at that point. Appreciate the 5, Perry. Shout out Justin Flanders with the gifted membership. Let's go, Justin. Appreciate you doing the Lord's work. If you got that membership, make sure to thank him in the chat. We got Nikki, been a member for 17 months now. Says, fly, eagle, fly, cry, birdies, cry. Hey, everybody's crying. I mean, we might as well make the Eagles cry too. I need another bottle of Eagles tears. I'm sorry. I need another bottle of the Eagle tears. So let's do it. I think the Chiefs got a good chance at making history here in 9 days, Mike. They really do. Excuse me. A lot of people think that the Eagles team is overrated. I've seen that a lot in the chat, guys. The thing about it is they might be overrated for what they're getting blown up to be. But don't get that twisted. They are a really good football team. I mean, they've only lost 3 games this season. But now, you can say their schedule's not as tough as the Chiefs, because that's true. They didn't have the schedule that the Chiefs had. They didn't have a gauntlet of teams to play. They didn't have to play, 3 games in 10 days and all this stuff. But they did beat some good teams this year. I mean, they beat the Ravens, which by all means was a good team in the AFC. In the NFC, they beat the Rams. Of course, the Rams kind of turned it on more towards the end of the year, but they still beat them. The Steelers, they kind of sucked towards the end of the season, but they did get a W over them, which is another playoff team. And but yeah, when you're looking at their division, though, they kind of get some gimme games, don't they, Mike? They play the Giants twice. They play the Cowboys twice. I mean, they played the Panthers this year. They played the Jaguars. So yeah, their schedule by all means is
does the NFC
soft.
East kind of set up in a way kind of like the AFC West though? Like the Eagles or the Chiefs, the dominant.
Yeah.
Then you've got Dallas, who's like, you never know what you're going to get. That's sort of like the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what you're going to get. Like, they're a playoff team. They're not a playoff team. Or maybe even Denver could be that one. And then Washington could be like the up-and-comer. So I want to say that's probably like the Broncos, right?
Right.
And then you've got the Raiders, the basement dweller down there, which is the Giants. So,
Right.
I mean, it's kind of the same. They can make the same argument for us. We don't have – we had 3 playoff teams this year. But, come on.
Absolutely.
Denver just limped in because we pretty much let them. And the Chargers, they proved that they just wasn't it. If I'm the Chiefs, though, here's what I'm doing. We seen last week that Andy Reid – and this goes back to the question in Jalen Hurts. We seen Andy Reid go back. He's not afraid. So he doesn't have, in my opinion, he just didn't have stuff he's holding back. So when we see something, it's just, oh, Andy held this back all year. No, he's got 2 weeks now. So you know what Andy's going to do? He's going to go in, he's going to watch every game this year and maybe even last year. And they are going to find, him and Spags,
The weaknesses.
are going to find matchup nightmares for Jalen Hurts. What games did he struggle? What games did they make his weaknesses most prevalent? And if you just want to go back to this year, Green Bay did it twice. In week 1, he had a 29 offensive grade was Jalen Hurts. Worst game of the season, and a 33 pass grade. That's horrible, okay? If you see what they did against Green Bay in the wild card, Jalen Hurts barely done better. He had a 66 and a 56 on passing. So whatever Green Bay does worked effectively to a certain degree versus Jalen Hurts. If
Right.
you want to find another game, the Bucks in week 4. They made him look pretty bad too. So Andy's going to pull some stuff from the Bucks. Him and Spags are going to pull stuff from there. They're going to pull stuff from Baltimore. Baltimore did a pretty good job against Jalen Hurts back in week 13. We've already seen they've taken some Baltimore stuff and applied it to the Bills. So Andy is going back and finding stuff. Spags is going back and finding stuff. Those are some games I would focus on. Would be the Packers and the Bucks game. It would be 2 very specific ones because those defenses got after. And if you really want to look at, say, what do those defenses do versus the run? Well, the Buccaneers are not even in the top 17 or 18 versus the run this year. And they made Jalen Hurts look bad. So they were probably giving up, probably more to Saquon Barkley, but they were very much shutting down the run. You know what I'm trying to say? They were very, very much shutting down what Jalen Hurts was able to do effectively. So I think those are some games that they need to look at, and I'm sure they will. I'm not telling them nothing they don't know. But I would be very curious to go back and maybe watch some of those games with Green Bay and see how Green Bay ran. Like, did they stack the box? What did they do? Did they really stop Saquon Barkley? Did Saquon Barkley get his and they just didn't want to let Jalen Hurts beat him? Like, I want to see how that was effective and what wasn't, because I think you might see some of that from Spags.
Yeah, for sure. Got a 5 from Flapjack. Says, which defense was better in Super Bowl, Eagles or 49ers? That weak-ass blowouts was more on Washington turning the ball over damn near on every drive. That's true, man. I think this last game, then again, not trying to take away from the Eagles. I think they're a good football team. But that blowout was absolutely a meltdown from Washington. That was a team.
The Rams the week before could have beat the Eagles, and
Yes.
they were turning the ball over.
Yes, and that was a close game. But the Commanders, they were a team that wasn't up for the task. They were a little bit further than they should have been. They were a team that was in a game they shouldn't have been in.
It almost felt like they were content just getting to the NFC Championship game.
Well, I mean, they should be. You're out there
Right,
with a
they
rookie
should've.
quarterback. I don't think anyone expected them to get to that point, and they just weren't up for it. I'm sorry, the lights were too bright for them, and they melted down, and the Eagles benefited from that. So I'm right there with you, Flapjack. I do think that's exactly what happened. This Eagles defense, to me, they're good, but Mike, I don't know if they're much better than the 49ers defenses that we had to play in the Super Bowl both times, to be quite honest about it. So it's hard to compare those defenses side by side, Flapjack, but I would say they're about equal. I wouldn't say they were any better or worse, really. So I do think they're a good defense.
Yeah, it's tough to really find. If you go back to last season, the 49ers as a defense was ranked third, and the Eagles are now ranked second in 2024. So it's right there. You're seeing this is why the Eagles have been so successful, and basically why the 49ers were successful up into this season. The defenses carried those teams. It was very much defense carried, and then Jalen Hurts is as good as everybody wanted to make him out, or as good as everybody wanted to make out Brock Purdy. Those guys are not very, very proven in big-time situations, but they could play above average and just make one or two spectacular plays in a 60-minute football game, and it looked like they were world beaters because they were getting those wins and they were winning those big games, but it was because of the defense. This year, the Chiefs are relying more on the defense more than I think Mahomes has ever had to be comfortable with, or even Andy Reid, but I think they're doing a good job of it. The Chiefs were ranked 13th in defense last year. If you want to go up to 2024, so it was number 3 versus 13. Here in 2024, it is number 1 with the Eagles versus number 2, according to PFF. So number 1 and number 2 ranked defenses. The Eagles have a way worse, this might be the big flaw. The Eagles have a 41.6 PFF tackling grade as a defense. That is below average. That's a failing grade. That is one of the worst. In terms of tackling rankings, the Chiefs are number 1 in football. Yes, we missed a lot of tackles versus the Bills in the first game. We didn't do that this past week. We're not going to miss tackles on Saquon Barkley. We are the highest ranked team. We missed the least amount of tackles, probably because we got rid of L'Jarius Sneed. Love L'Jarius Sneed, but that boy could miss some tackles. Okay, Chamari Connor's trying his best to fill his role.
Yeah,
we'll get it. But look, we're number 1 in missed tackles. If you want to look at where the Eagles rank, the Eagles are near the bottom. They're 26th.
Right.
Only the Texans, Raiders, Saints, Falcons, Dolphins, and Browns were below them on missed tackles.
Which,
so that
that's
going
to play hand in hand with getting the ball into your playmakers' hands.
The 49ers were a better tackling team last year.
That's going to play right into getting the ball into your playmakers' hands and letting them work. So expect
this could be a big time like Xavier Worthy game, getting him the ball in the flats.
Hollywood Brown. It could be a lot of the same little things that you've been seeing because this Chiefs offense. A lot of people worry about the offensive line, Mike, and they're like, "Oh, Patrick can't hold on to the ball long enough." This team is way better, and Patrick is way better when he does not hold on to the ball. Get rid of the ball quick, and that's how this offense hums along. That's why it's been much better in the last few weeks than it has been all season long.
I did find that to be weird. Like, people's like, well, Pat needs to be able to hold the ball for 3
Absolutely
3.5
not.
seconds. That does not equate because one of the worst games he had all year, he was allowed to hold the ball 3.5 seconds.
You don't
That's
want
what
that.
teams say. He was allowed to hold the ball. Yes, they wanted to keep him in the pocket because what's he going to do? Like, at a certain point, it just becomes pitch and catch and receivers, and they stop running routes, and just you get out of your offense. And Patrick's usually good at making that stuff happen. He's not been as magical outside of the pocket as we've seen in years past this year. I think that was maybe what was missing from Mahomes this year was that Mahomes magic. It felt like
that's the thing. At the beginning of the year, it was like it was expected to be the entire game. What makes Mahomes magical outside of the pocket is the fact that the team is playing good football and the offense looks good.
And then
the few opportunities where he has to do it, he makes things happen. But when you're trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat every freaking play, it's not going to happen very often.
The odds are not in your favor.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys being here today. Do us a favor, hit that like button, get us out to more people. If you're watching on X or Facebook, make sure to share that with your friends, family, and followers. Mike, we have another sponsor to get to, so we're going to take a quick break. Do us a favor, guys. Stick around. We got much more to talk about.
All Chiefed Up is proud to announce that we've teamed up with one of the most recognizable names in crypto and the world, Crypto.com. And today we're featuring an exciting new rollout from Crypto.com called Crypto Sports. With Crypto.com Sports, you're now able to have the opportunity to turn your predictions into profit with their sports event trading, which is now available across the entirety of the United States. They're also offering a $100 payment for each correct event contract that you own. And all you have to do is make a simple yes or no decision, making it a seamless and user-friendly experience. It's currently live on Crypto.com's app and website. With this, Crypto.com has made it simple for you. Just simply click yes or no depending on who you think wins the game. And then you can sit back, relax, and just watch. It's so simple and easy that anyone can do it, and that's why we think Crypto.com hit a home run. If your prediction is correct and the team ultimately wins or loses, you receive a $100 payment for your correct prediction within 1 business day after the event is finished. And now, if you use our link in the description to sign up, you can also receive an additional $10 worth of Crow Coin, and you'll get that $10 worth of Crow bonus after you complete your first sports event contract trade. Again, be sure to sign up using the link we've provided for you in the description below, and don't miss out on that additional $10 of Crow that Crypto.com is generously offering.
Go get
Let's
that
go.
Crow.
Get down there in that description.
Check that link out in the description. Get that $10 worth of bonus Crow. Steve, lots of people going to be eating that Crow.
They're going to be. You know it's coming. But right now, here, a train coming in. Chief DeLorean with 5 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go, Chief
go,
DeLorean.
baby.
Put some legendaries in the chat for the Chief DeLorean. And also, if you get one of those memberships, make sure to thank him. Mike, it's the end of the week. We've got to get a members-only live stream in here. We got to get it in maybe later today, if possible, or tomorrow if we're running a little late. But either way, if you got a membership, you just got a chance to win a signed Jalen Watson jersey after that live stream. So thank Chief DeLorean in the chat. And also, if you're not a member and you'd like a chance to win that jersey, make sure to hit that join button or go to join.allchiefedup.com, and I'll take you directly to it if you're having trouble finding that join button, because that's been a thing. So just letting you know, join.allchiefedup.com.
Can we talk just for a few minutes? I want to address a few comments we keep getting on every single video. And if you haven't watched our video from last night, we're sorry. We usually get videos out at like what, 12, 1 o'clock during the day.
Right.
But, you know, we kind of just wanted to wait around for some news and this and that and put together something for you guys. We did a little bit more of a podcast style last night. We thought that was kind of fun. Wanted to get back to our roots a little bit. But Steve, we're getting comments constantly. I can't find the join membership. I can't gift memberships. YouTube won't notify me of your video. Missed another video. YouTube won't tell me. Guys, I'm going to tell you this right now. YouTube hates us, number 1. Number 2, be sure to check little things on your phone. And I'll say that really quickly. Be sure to make sure that the YouTube app is allowed to send you notifications, because sometimes iPhones, you have to go select that, and sometimes
It's
they're
on
off.
every phone, yeah.
So if your YouTube accidentally has your app, YouTube is not allowed to send you notifications. You will not get our notifications sent. YouTube cannot transcend the power that is the iPhone setting. So you have to just make sure that if it's all that, and it very well could be completely right on your end, YouTube's a slap nut and they hate us. So,
yeah.
I mean, just remember that, and just always remember that it's very easy to just go to YouTube every day if you got 5 seconds and just go to the top and hit All Chiefed Up.
Yeah, go to our channel. Check it
just
out.
Search All Chiefed Up.
Yeah, we're putting out
bam.
content
Or better
constantly.
yet, just hit subscribe and you'll see it right there on the side.
Let's go. Mike, we got a 10 bomb from Denise. She says, let's freaking go. 3-peat, baby. Mike, 9 days away from the big game, the Super Bowl.
Are you nervous? I mean, not nervous. I don't want to say nervous.
No.
Because I'm not nervous. But are you content with whatever the outcome is? Or are you going to be a little salty if we don't pull off the 3-peat? Or are you going to say, my God, that was a run, unlike any other, and we gave it the old college try?
Mike, effectively, if you remove the end of the season game against the Broncos, that basically don't count. I mean, this team has won 24 of their last 25 games or something like that.
We're on an incredible run. I
It
never
is
thought as a lifelong Chiefs fan
absolutely
I would
insane.
live this.
It's absolutely insane. And of course, if they don't, win the Super Bowl and make history with the 3-peat and all that, it's going to be a little disappointing. It's going to sting a little bit, but at the same time, I feel no pressure. I'm not nervous. It's nothing like that. It's like, let's just see if the boys can get it done.
Still held high.
Yeah, dude. I mean, let's just see if the boys can get it done.
This team is just,
it's insane, dude.
it's insane what Andy and Patrick have been able to deliver to Kansas City. It really is. And I did see yesterday, Steve, they said if the Chiefs win, it was reported that they're going to do a parade, but they're not doing a live gathering at Union Station anymore.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm glad the Slapnuts had to run that one. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay though.
Honestly,
at least they're still going to do the parade if they win.
That's,
so
true.
Cool.
I think they should sell tickets
Still
and
going.
make it an event at Arrowhead. You can make money and still let people come in. It would be very much secure at Arrowhead. I think that would be some, because they're doing a private event there for friends and family.
Right, but you have to
anyway.
think like there's upwards of almost 1 million people celebrating these things, and you can only get 77,000 people into Arrowhead.
Well, that's better
so.
than nothing.
I guess so.
So,
but no,
I mean,
yeah, either way. But you know what, Mike? They got to win the damn game first, and that's the thing. Like you said, it's been an unprecedented, just ridiculous, historic run by this team. So
Yeah.
no matter the outcome, it's just absolutely crazy what they've been able to do, and they'll continue to do it next year. They're not going anywhere. We mentioned that earlier. But yeah, I absolutely want to see them pull this off, dude. Not just for me, myself as a fan, but just for all those guys and all those guys in the organization, and even guys that were part of this that aren't any longer, like Colin Saunders out there that's pulling for the Chiefs, and other guys. It's like, hey, I was.
Colin Saunders got more tolerable not being a Chief?
Yeah, it's kind of strange, isn't it? But no, but that's the thing. That there's so many people that put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. So I mean, in an unselfish way, I would love to see them be able to cash in on that and be in the history books.
I want to see D-Hop get one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to see
and
Kareem Hunt.
Hunt.
First and foremost, Kareem Hunt's the guy that I want to see get one. He's had some mistakes in his career. He's owned up to it, but he really wants to be here. He really wanted to be a part of this. You could tell it bothered him, and this is his chance.
And here's the thing: the biggest reason why I want the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl this year, all those things are very important that I just mentioned. But the most important thing, guys, I want the haters to cry themselves to sleep. I want them to eat their words. I want the complete meltdown. I want them to hate their lives, and I want to laugh at them for it. I can't wait. That's the main reason why.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the most important to me. Jay Kelsey, been a member for 17 months now. Let's freaking go, Jay.
Jay, baby.
Jason OG says, let's freaking go, Chiefs. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Larry Johns with the 2-bomb says, Juju in Hollywood will ball out. Would love to see another big game from Juju. I mean, you're not going to get it over and over and over again, but I mean, those 2 plays last week, that was great. Like, if you can get that out of Juju, you're winning. And then Hollywood,
Dude, if you get one play like that out of Juju, I'll take that gladly.
And then Hollywood, I would like to see some of those quick hitters to Hollywood. Like I said earlier, they're kind of using him to run those Rashi Rice routes from earlier in the season. You're seeing Hollywood run those, and it's kind of helping the offense open up a little bit and everything. But would love to see him get the ball in his hands quick. Same with Xavier Worthy and other guys that can create with the ball in their hands. So I think that's going to be a thing, Mike. You mentioned earlier they have like a very, very bad missed tackle rate. Yeah. So take advantage of it. Get the ball into the hands of our playmakers. These guys have a lot of speed. There's a lot of speed on our team. A lot of yak guys. I mean, even the guys that don't have necessarily the speed, like Travis Kelce and Juju Smith-Schuster, they still have a knack for getting yards after the catch. So just get the ball into these guys' hands and let them work. If they're going to miss tackles, let's take advantage of it.
Yeah. Xavier Worthy could be a big, big key piece to this. The last time we played the Eagles in the Super Bowl was the year, if I'm not mistaken, was the year that Tyreek Hill got traded. And we did not have that speedster, deep threat, quick hitter, home run guy. We just really didn't have that. I know Mecole Hardman was here. We drafted Sky Moore. We tried Kadarius Toney. And you see Kadarius Toney actually make a few plays. Like, he made a very big punt return there that maybe sealed the deal or won the game.
Yes.
I think Xavier Worthy, like, this is now a different dynamic. The last time they played us in a Super Bowl, obviously, they didn't have to defend a guy like Xavier Worthy. And I think Xavier Worthy, and the reason the Chiefs valued him in the offseason, I guess the reason we just kind of overlooked it in draft coverage, because we didn't hate Worthy, but we were looking at Worthy as an NFL player. And it's tough to see people as an NFL player and how they will project to the league and how they will project to the Chiefs. That's 2 totally different things. And whereas the Chiefs missed with Sky Moore, I think Sky Moore had a better shot at going to one of the 31 other teams because his skill set didn't match the Chiefs.
Right.
It did, but it didn't.
Do you like the Chiefs? You like the Chiefs trolling and bringing them back?
Right. Yeah, that's a little scary.
It's kind of funny,
I'm not gonna
though.
lie, it's a
You
little
think
scary.
that was totally just a troll job?
Was that the last time Sky Moore ever got in the end zone?
Potentially.
The first
But
and the
I think
last?
it's funny that right before this big game in the Super Bowl against the Eagles, they're like, let's activate Sky Moore.
It's funny. But back to my point, I do think that that's two different things. Sky Moore would project better to 31 other teams than the Chiefs, and I
Yeah.
think Xavier Worthy projects better to the Chiefs than 31 other teams.
100%. Yes. 100%. It's all about that situation sometimes, and I think that they hit the nail on the head with the Xavier Worthy pick. Mike, you mentioned that we thought maybe it was a little too obvious, and it was like, oh, great, they're going to try to get him because he's fast, and ever since Tyreek Hill was here, that's all the Chiefs ever do is try to find the fast guy, and it just, so we were kind of like leery about that pick. And
Well, yeah, because, we supported Sky Moore as in we took it from a Chiefs point of view, and we were like, look, the Chiefs aren't going to cut him as bad as you guys want. Like, he's going to make the
if you're
team.
on the team, you got to support the guy.
Right. And so I just wanted him to get over the hump. And I mean,
It didn't happen.
okay,
It didn't happen.
But look, you also had Kadarius Toney, and he was that guy. And just some guys just do not work, right? But you just kind of felt like the Chiefs just kept trying to replace that over and over and over, and they took another swing at Xavier Worthy, and it was just like, let's not make this mistake again. But they finally hit. So I guess it's the old adage of keep swinging till you make a connection. You might hit a homer.
Just close your eyes and swing.
Keep swinging, Brett.
Hey, do what you got to do. Casey Lion Squad with the 2-bomb says the haters will blow up the internet when we win. Mike, it is going to be a glorious thing. There's only so many times in the internet era of life where things have happened to the magnitude
Where you get just me.
we're going to see the meltdowns that you're going to see from the Chiefs winning this Super Bowl. So after they get the job done, guys, which you have full confidence that you'll do it, we as fans are going to enjoy the hell out of this.
If the Eagles do pull off the win, Chiefs fans, I think, are going to be pretty respectful. And I actually think Eagles fans would be pretty respectful. I think the entire league is going to come down on Chiefs fans as much because it's like they got a little light at the end of the tunnel where they can talk crap. And what are they going to say?
Well,
you didn't get all the cheating calls today.
Yeah,
did you?
so that's going to come from all of the casual fans, and also you're going to hear the most chirping from Buffalo fans because you hurt their feelings.
And maybe Bengals fans because they think
Just
every
because they
situation's about them.
always insert themselves into situations
Somehow
that they
the
shouldn't
Bengals are
be
playing
in.
in the Super Bowl. I have no idea how it's happening, but they're there.
Right. And like I said the other day, there really is no pressure on the Chiefs to win this thing other than the obvious. You're trying to win the Super Bowl. That's your main goal. And then there's the history thing. We're going to be the first team in the Super Bowl era to three-peat. So, there are some things there. But at the same time, like I was saying the other day, Mike, it's kind of like when we were kids. We play each other one-on-one in basketball, and you were the older brother. So, you were bigger, you were faster, and you were better, and you would beat me all the time, right? It was just you kept beating me and kept beating me and kept beating me and kept beating me. When I finally beat you, it was like, sweet, I finally beat his ass. But at the same time, I couldn't talk too much trash because I already lost you 900 times before that. And that's kind of the situation the Chiefs are in right now. So you could try to talk your trash, but you just kind of look pathetic at that point. So,
Yeah. At some point, you got taller than me.
Yeah.
Made it tough to rebound.
Yeah. Started using my post moves on you. Watched too much Akeem Olajuwon and
I
Patrick
know what you were
Ewing as
doing.
a child.
You were in there. Every night you were sleeping. You were stretching your legs out like those the Discovery Channel. Those like tribes and stuff in like Africa that'll stretch their ears and their legs. You were doing that. You were using the leg stretch routine. That's why you got to be so tall.
Hell yeah, I had to do something. I had to even the score. But yeah, man, I'm pretty excited about this. 9 days away. Things are a little quiet at the moment. There's a little calm before the storm, if
Yeah.
you will. I know next week.
I sense it.
Next week, the media stuff will really pick up. A lot of the coverage of the Super Bowl is really going to pick up. There'll probably be a lot more storylines for us to run with next week and do this and that. But this week is just kind of the quiet before the storm. It's kind of a time that you can use to reflect on the season and kind of prepare yourself for the
Do
game.
you feel like the NFL kind of makes too much of a show for NFL week, like Super Bowl week? Like it becomes a little too much scripted and
Well, no.
just weird. Like, look what they've done to the Pro Bowl. I seen a clip of
Well, that's
Justin
just a
Jefferson
joke,
putting on
right?
fake hands and trying to catch a football. Like that's what they've turned that into.
Right, that's a joke, though. No one cares about the Pro Bowl, but the Super Bowl it is the most important game in sports. It just is. The NFL is the most popular
That's
sport.
why America's number one, Steve. How many times has anybody from Japan won a Super Bowl? 0.
Exactly. And no one cares about football. It's football. Okay, but it's the biggest game there is in sports, man, and it's a spectacle. And they're going to cash in on it. They're going to make it a spectacle. So, I mean, that's just going to happen. But that just goes to show you, it takes a lot of, mental fortitude for these players to get through all of that stuff all week and all the limelight and all the stuff that comes along with that, and keep your head on straight and focus on the game. Get out there and get the job done.
I can't. I'm laughing right now. I can't. The Saturday Night Live skit, where the George Washington, Nate Bargatze, whatever, where he's George Washington. They talk about
I'm just
football.
going to hold on. I'm not want to interrupt your story. We'll get right back to it. But I don't care about Saturday Night Live at this point. It's not been good since Sandler and gang.
Okay, but this was maybe the best they've done. But anyways, he's like George Washington. They're coming to America, and he's like, "Shall we play soccer?" And he's like, "No, we shall call it football." And he's like, "Oh, so you get to play with your feet?" And he's like, "Sometimes, but mainly with your hands." It's hilarious, but that's why they reminded me of when you were talking about that.
Yeah, man, Mike, what do you think about the season being over? Regardless, in 9 days, this football season's a wrap.
It's wild because it really,
Yeah.
for us and a lot of people that are just diehards, it doesn't end. Like, they're already doing the Senior Bowl right now in Mobile. Mm-hmm. It's going to go into all these games, Shrine Bowls.
We'll
and
take
all
a
this
quick.
stuff.
We'll take a breath, and then let's
Yeah.
jump into the draft stuff. And every year it's kind of like a mentally taxing because you're right at the Super Bowl and you're like, oh, it's finally done, but we got to get right back to work, if not more
we're right
work,
back.
right? And it's like it's kind of mentally taxing and stuff like that. But at the same time, I get excited every year. It's like thinking about the different phases of the NFL year. And so, I mean, that's cool. I'm excited about it. Mike, we can't complain about being able to do what we do. And shout out to all the ACU crew, everybody watching right now for that. But so, I mean, you just kind of have to have some perspective. But this is what it's all about, is the game coming up. Everything that we do throughout a year, everything you guys do as fans throughout a year, everything that team does, every day they get up and go to work, and the work they put in, the sacrifices they make with their families, and the time they don't get to spend with their children. I mean, it's just all of that is all about this game coming up. It's crazy. That's how big a Super Bowl is. That's the entire, point of what they do.
Right, and it's not like the World Series, right, where it's like a best of series. Like, this is
No,
one
this is
60-minute
it.
period. You better play your best,
Yeah.
your best, because if not, it's going to get turned on 1 to 2 plays is going to turn it.
Yeah, that's insane. Guys, appreciate y'all being here once again. Do us a favor, hit that like button if you haven't already. Also, get your questions and stuff in the chat. We'll be here for a little while longer, but we're going to have to take another quick break, and we'll be right back. Stick around.
Today's show is sponsored by Manta Sleep Mask. You got to check this out. We weren't big believers in sleep masks. I thought they were going to be too big, too hot, too bulky, but Manta Sleep Mask changed that perception for me. These sleep masks are so comfortable. You can change the cup around your eye and find a custom fit. That way the mask finds your comfortability. With these pillows around your eyes, you feel zero pressure. And with a 100% blackout technology, you can go to sleep anytime, day or night, no matter how erratic your sleep schedule is. You can go with the sound mask, the pro mask, the silk mask, or just the sleep mask. You should go check out their website by clicking the link we have provided for you in the description below and read up on which option sounds best for you. But regardless of which mask you choose, use our code ACU10 at checkout and receive a 10% discount that we have secured through Manta Sleep for you, Chiefs Kingdom. Again, go to the description, find the link, find the mask you want to try out, use code ACU10 and get yourself some of the best sleep you've ever had in preparation of this long football season.
Do it to it. Get down in the description. Check out Manta Sleep. Grab yourself one of those masks. You're going to need some rest after this Super Bowl win because you're going to party it up. It's going to be like a week of nothing but just pure horniness. You're going to go to the freaking parade. You're going to talk shit to everybody out
And
there.
you're going to have to find a way to power nap.
Yeah. So,
No better way to just slap that bad boy on a power nap a little bit.
Just do it. Just do it. Mike, closing thoughts, man. We got a few minutes left. Like I said, get your all's questions in the chat if you have anything. We'll try to get to you. But I mean, how are we feeling? Like I said, it's kind of the calm before the storm. I know next week things are going to pick up, but I mean, overall, like I said, I don't feel nervous or anything about this game whatsoever. As a fan, normally you feel nervous about big games, and even the Buffalo game and AFC Championship game, I never felt nervous about that, really. Even watching the game, I felt like a weird sense of calm the whole time. So how have you been holding up, and how do you feel about this matchup coming up?
It's been a weird season. This is the culmination of just a weird season in a way. Like it's felt odd. We've always felt like we're the favorites, or we're the deserved favorites. We've earned that. We had back-to-back coming into this season. But yet in the offseason, all we heard was the Broncos drafted Bo Nix. They're coming.
Right.
Antonio Pierce got re-signed, and the Raiders, they're coming. The Chargers got a new coach, Hardballs, and Justin Herbert, and it's finally their time. They're coming. They're going to beat the Chiefs. And lo and behold, it didn't happen. And then all year long, disrespect. Injury, IR. It felt like we were watching a bad movie. Like somehow we had lost one game super late into the season. Like at one point we're 8, 9, 10-0, but it just felt like the season from hell. We even had a video called the season from hell because we just couldn't get over the injuries. Like that was what we were referring to. Or just the fact that we just couldn't get the offense working, and the left tackle situation just couldn't get together. And then,
it did seem like the world and everything was against the Chiefs trying to get this 3.
Right, and
really
getting into this game, it was going to be hard for the Chiefs to be able to play the role that the Chiefs want to play, which is Chiefs versus the world. But they've allowed this to now happen. You've got a 2-time Super Bowl champion that loses one game effectively this season. Just beat the second best team in football last week. Okay, the Bills are better than the Eagles. Beat the second best team. And now you're going in with 2 weeks preparation with the best coach, best quarterback on 2 weeks preparation. And now you've got the entire planet rooting against the Chiefs. You've got the entire media telling you that it's rigged. The Chiefs are going to have an us versus them mentality, and you just managed to put a chip on the back of a team that shouldn't have had a chip on them.
Right.
But now we've hit the culmination, and I feel the same way. Like I'm not nervous. I don't think I was ever nervous for a single game this year. I want to say maybe the most nervous I was all season long was maybe like week 2 versus the Bengals, because the first showing versus the Ravens wasn't like the most dominant, and nobody wanted to hear Bengals fans all week. That may have been the only time I was a little bit nervous, but the fact that they were coming into Arrowhead really didn't have that much worry. But it's been a pretty smooth season. Like you said, didn't really struggle versus the Texans. Didn't really have any weird feelings last week versus the Bills. Don't really feel no type of way versus the Eagles. I think if the Chiefs play their normal game, and even if it's close, there's no better team out there that knows how to deal with a close game than what we've been doing. So,
right. Mike, well, you mentioned something. You said Kansas City versus the world. And backed by popular demand over at merch.allchiefedup.com. Let's take a look at this bad boy. Can you see it? It's back.
Love it.
Kansas City versus the world. The back. They hate us because they ain't us. Got the Grim Reaper Arrowhead logo. So you guys can check that out.
That used to be up, so you're bringing it back.
I brought it back. It is live now.
There it
starting
is.
at $34.99.
We were ahead of our
Come
time.
get it.
We had this
Come
going
get
into
it.
last year's Super Bowl.
Yeah, this was actually a relaunch. So, I mean, we've had this shirt since the beginning of the store, actually.
We were the hated team that was going to come to fruition.
But if you guys like that, you can go snag one, merch.allchiefedup.com.
Can you get it in different colors?
If you don't want the red,
Oh, you can get the black. Okay.
Yeah, so you can get the black if you like the black better. But why wouldn't you want that bright Kansas City Chiefs red, baby?
To wear on Red Friday.
Absolutely. Go snag that. Go get that.
We should maybe give one of those away, too.
Yeah, we might have to do that.
Maybe we can use that for a giveaway item.
Absolutely. And speaking of giveaways, that members only live stream's coming up very, very soon. Sorry, we don't have an exact time for you guys. Our schedules are crazy, so we kind of have to just make it happen. But we are going to be giving away a signed Jalen Watson jersey. He took time out of his busy schedule recovering from his injury, getting back into the flow of things to sign a jersey for you guys, and we're going to give it away on the members only live stream. So if you're not a member and you would like a chance to win that, become a member. Hit that join button or go to join.allchiefedup.com and become a member of the ACU crew. Mike, I saw this up here. Zach Devlin, he said, so why is the world against your channel? And why is it so hard to find, even if you're subscribed? Dang, but dig the channel, guys. Appreciate that. Appreciate the gas, Zach. So I don't know. I don't think the world's against our channel, but I do think YouTube doesn't make things easy for our channel. And if I had to speculate, it's probably not intentional. It's not like they have a team of people that work at YouTube and are like, how are we going to F over all chiefed up today? How are we going to screw up everything?
I would be honored if they did have that morning meeting.
So that's
every
not
day.
what's going on here. Everything is done, by AI nowadays, an algorithm, everything like that. Well, there just so happens to be another channel in our niche. Shout out Cole. He does awesome work over at How About Those Chiefs? But his channel blew up. It's like it put him into Mr. Beast stratosphere over here. And what is the algorithm going to do? They're like, look at all the money we can make off of this guy. Like, we can make killer money off of him. So they're going to continuously shove his stuff all over YouTube because they can make the most money that way, which in turn buries a lot of the other guys in that niche. So like us, Chief Concerns, some RGR sometimes, you don't see as much of us as you're going to see of that. And that's no shade, well-deserved, but that's just how it is. So you got to grind it out, man. You got to grind it. And that's what we do. We keep the content coming. Mike, we got a 5-bomb from David Miller. It says we need to get better on third down defense. That's a point that I've been trying to make for weeks now. And actually, the third down defense against Buffalo was much better than it had been. That's probably why we won that game, because they did step up the third down defense. A lot of it, Mike, you've been pointing out, spag scheme, the way they drop into zone a lot on third down and allow stupid passes right over the middle and things like that. Mm-hmm. I just think it's all about tweaking that a little bit and doing what they got to do. And I saw an improvement against Buffalo, and I continue and expect to continue to see an improvement against the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, look, back in 2023, we were 35.5% on third down defensive stops. So pretty good. That's really good. If that was our number this year, we would be ranked number 3 in all of football. So there's your difference. This year, we're not at 35.3. We're actually at 43.9. So 44% of the time, the other team converts. And we're not ranked number 3 in football. We're actually ranked number 28. There was only 4 teams below us. And another one was the second best team in football, in my opinion, was the Bills. And we exposed that on them last week, and we tightened ours up, and that was the difference there, right? So in comparison, where's the Eagles? Last year they were 46%. Where was the 49ers last year? Last year the 49ers were at 42%. So technically the Chiefs are right around what the 49ers were last year. The 49ers lost the Super Bowl because they couldn't stop us on third down. So, the Eagles are now at 36.9%, which is basically 37%. They are a top 10 team. They're number 9. Over their last 3 games, though, in the playoffs, they've got worse. They've got 44%. Over our last 3 games, we've got worse. We've ticked up to 56%. So that is a very valid point. We have to do it. Like Steve mentioned, versus Buffalo, though, we were right at our average. We were 35.7. We got back down to our average. The Chiefs have to get back down to at least their average if they're going to be able to stop Philly, because we know what Philly does. Philly will not, they will be just like Buffalo. They will get in situations where it doesn't look like they're ever going to bring out a punter.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're
going to see that stupid ass tush push over and over and over again.
They're
Get
going
ready
to
for that.
refuse to give the ball to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. At some point, it will be straight Madden.
Yeah, it's what it's been for the Chiefs for years now.
So the defense has to stouten up and stop them, get them off the field, or otherwise the other team's not leaving the field. Yeah. Like it's not a gentleman's game anymore where you get to 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Well, let's call it the punter.
Yeah,
it's not like that anymore. It's analytics. They'll say analytics, but guess what? That's called Brandon Staley.
Yeah,
they suck. That's called why the Bills lost last week. Way too many fourth down missed conversions.
Yep. Mike, you make a damn good point, but I think you made up a word.
What? What did I
Said
make?
stouten up, toughen up, tighten up.
Did I say that?
You did, I think.
Man,
Maybe I just heard that. Maybe I just heard it. But either
might have
way,
said it. I
I
might
had
have
to give you. I had to give you crap for it because
I mean,
why not?
I've
Casey
never been
Lion
known
Squad.
to speak English.
We're from Kentucky. It's okay, guys. Casey Lion Squad with the 2 bomb
Don't
says,
hold that against us. I feel like people hate our channel, Steve, because we're not from the Kansas City area. They think that we're not
Oh.
real.
that makes you better, though, you know? But Casey Lion Squad with a 2 bomb says, when people see red, it drives them mad. Go Chiefs. It's getting to that point. Everything Chiefs related drives the world mad. That's why it's Kansas City versus the world. And that's the mentality
world
the
are the
Chiefs have
Bulls?
to have going into.
They're the bull chasing our red, right? Like they hate it. They're going to attack that red.
Absolutely. But Mike, the teams keep giving us bulletin board material, the things for Chiefs to talk about, and one of them being Saquon Barkley saying good luck, try and stop that offense. So, yeah, hopefully the Chiefs are looking into that and seeing what they can do to make him eat his words. And we appreciate you guys being here. Do us a favor, hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already. Also want to shout out BetUS, Crypto.com, and Manta Sleep for powering the live stream. All you guys are awesome. Do us a favor, get to that description, check all of them out, and let them know All Chiefed Up sent you. And we'll be back with more content. So just keep checking. If you don't get a notification, keep checking that All Chiefed Up channel, baby, because we're going to keep putting out the content.
Just check.
And we'll see you next time, guys. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
There goes a sight from my soul.